Alright, I'm going to try and take a Lightwave object into Motion Builder, bring the motion back into Lightwave, and utilize it on my character. So, I already have a scene set up here. I have this rig that is available here at rebelhill.net, HTML, LW, and FBX.html, rebelhill.net. It's a free rig, it's right here. It's basically the bones for using a motion capture FBX and attaching it to your Lightwave geometry, bipedal geometry, a human character. You got to make sure when you're fitting the bones to your rig. I know in his tutorial he says that it's okay to rotate them, but don't do it. Just move it into place as best you can, and you can fix it later using the graph editor after you apply all the motions and everything. Maybe there's some way. It seemed to be working for him for some reason, but whenever I do it, it breaks the rig. And this just stick with the move your bones and then rest them into place, and don't do record pivot rotations or anything on it. Just rest them into place after you got them moved in there using the transform tool or translate. Anyways, so I have the hair and the eyes coming in off a separate model, but I'm going to open up this one so you can see. It's kind of important. You got to get your weight maps set up on your character so that the bones will be assigned to the correct weights for your character. This way you can see you got everything. Make sure you're not missing any geometry, that everything has some weight assigned to it. If you miss anything, it'll not deform with the skeleton, and you'll have geometry falling behind your during motion, falling behind. It just looks very wrong when you got a piece of one polygon and it's dragging behind and it's not moving. It's staying in place essentially while the rest of the rig moves. Chances are you'll see this in Motion Builder because I have some weight maps that are only using 50%, and Motion Builder doesn't really take too kindly to that. But it does work. So I found that I've had to use Motion Builder 2013 because all the newer ones don't seem to work with this Lightwave 11.63. I can't tell you about 2015. Possibly that a newer version of Motion Builder might be recognized by 2015, but for sure 2013, Motion Builder 2013 is working just fine. So I am going to export an FBX from Lightwave. I'm using these settings. If I was going to go to Unity and had an animation already in it, I would make sure this checkbox is checked, but I do not. And you would have to definitely bake out all your frames before you have this animations on, or the animation will show up in Unity broken. So there's a nice little script for that, for going to a Unity project. I only have 30 frames set. This should be fine. I'll show you that script real quick since I went ahead and babbled about it. Not sure I have it in here. I may not have put it on yet. And I'm not remember what it's called either. It's something about fish. Fish baker. I'm going to look it up real quick for you. Where are those darn scripts anyways? There it is. I think it's called Mental Fish Motion Baker. Mental Fish Motion Baker. Yep, it's called Mental Fish Motion Baker. And you use that to bake all your motions out for your whole rig. It's free. And then when you can check on that animation box and save it and put it in the Unity. So anyways, I saved that FBX right here. I really wanted to name it _LW, so I knew I saved it from Lightwave. This FBX is from Lightwave. So I'm going to go ahead and double click it. And there she is. I haven't got any characters built, so I'm going to have to attach a character to her. Say characterize a biped. My arms are not going to look right at first. We're going to fix them back in Lightwave. Her arms are, she's just going to be kind of flapping, but you'll see that the motion is applied to the arm because she'll be moving around, but we're going to have to bend them in Lightwave and put them back down to her side. So we're just going to say ignore all. It'll be fine. Go up here, turn the character on that we just made, and select it over here, and it's not active yet. Go ahead and go to character definition, and we're going to import that motion. Motion file import. That's slow walk loop. There's a character attached to this, but we're not going to use that character. We're just going to grab the motion out, and we'll do that by just saying import. And there it is. The character is not showing. That's good. Gonna go to Bone X-ray. Control Shift left clicks allows you to rotate around. Wheel allows you to zoom in and out. And we need to characterize that motion rig. It's a hip bone here. So I'm going to drag and characterize to it. So we're going to have to reset the naming convention so that it works. This naming convention on this rig is different than this one, so we got to match them up. Say OK. Say close. Right now they're not matching up. So I can turn just go to character 1 here and get started on the process. We're going to open up the base. You can see that it's looking for stuff, so we on the rig that has motion applied already, we're going to, you click on the bone you want to drag into here, and then after selecting it, you hold down the Alt key and drag it where you want it to go, and let go. And next one is the left leg. Select it, Alt drag it where you want it to go. If the geometry lights up, don't worry about it, just don't let it go on the geometry. If you do have to set it down somewhere, set it down in like this gray zone here or something, so it doesn't try and attach somewhere else. So say Alt drag it, see I get this circle with the red sign here. It's not going to try and apply it to that geometry if I drag it right here and drop it, and then I can start over again, Alt dragging it to left leg here. I want this bone, Alt drag it. That was the foot. This is the other leg. The other foot. So I'm going to change the spine. I'll drag that there. Go with the other arm. Alt dragging it. Alt drag. It's very important to do the Alt. Holding the Alt key while you drag it into place. It's necessary. And Alt drag. The last one there. We're going to finish up this spine. It changed this one for us when we dragged it into place up here on this spine. This spine and this spine are the same. So you change it here, it'll change it up there. You change it up there, it'll change it here. So I want this one and this one. I think that should be it. So now I'm going to go make sure I'm back on character 1 here. It changes it when you're remapping it. Go back to character 1, say characterize, say biped, and then say change, wait no, before you do that, extract your naming template, say OK. Go to character up here and change this one to character 1. It should be following it now. You see the hands moving, like this hand is moving here, but the arm is not bending like it's supposed to at the shoulder. We'll fix that in Lightwave. So we're going to go check on character 1, make sure that it's not active. But we do need to plot the character. So control rig, FKIK, all the default settings are fine. Say plot. So the character is now plotted. We need to turn off active on character 1. Go back to character. Plot this character as well. Skeleton. All default settings are fine, say plot. And we're going to have to turn the active back on that one. Make sure everything still works. Everything's doing like it should. And then make sure everything's turned on over here. Still active on character 1. Go to save as and append a MB on the end so you know it's from Lightwave. The FBX is from Lightwave, now it's from Motion Builder. Turn off these 2 checkboxes. We just want the slow walk loop. Say save. Go ahead and close it. Open back up that original work file. And I forgot to say you could delete these Motion Builder, pulled them out of the FBXs. It's just the images that are the mapped images that go to the model. Just hit delete. Get those on out of there. Go back in here. So now we should ought to be able to load items from scene. This is the one from Motion Builder. Double click. Make sure you got bake rotations and your Lightwave bones on. Say you'll continue. And this does take, depending on the speed of your machine, could take a little while. My machine's decently fast. Got a fair amount of memory and a 6-core i7, so it's pretty good, and I still have to wait a minute on this. And this isn't actually it's only like 40 or 28 frames or something, so on really long animations you may end up waiting 10 minutes or something for this part to happen. So select none. This is the global that everything's attached to, including the model object. I don't want that. I want the base model. That is all her skin, everything. It's not the hair or the eyes or anything. It's the base model that the actual skeleton is mapped to. And I want to say merge only motion envelopes. Say OK. So I'm going to grab the original one. Oh, no, I do not want to move it off yet, because I want to double click on this head bone, hit Shift A to zoom in on it. Back off a little bit, that's pretty close. What I want to do is press the 1 key for the back view. I'm going to line it up with that other head bone that's wanky here, but I want to line it up with it as best as I can. Put it right on there. I'm going to keyframe it there. That way I can go to my hair, hit M until it's the new head object is the parent, and go to the left eye and tell it that the new head object is the parent. And I have parent and place on, see right here. So picking that new head, make sure that parent and place is on, because then when you parent it and you move that bone, and since we're going to throw that rig away anyways, we're parenting it to the new rig that we brought in. everything's parented. So now the hair moves with the motion break. And then I'm going to back off here. Select that global, move it out of the way here. I'm going to keyframe it over here, and I'm hitting minus. That'll clear it. I want to say yes to all the descendants, get rid of it all. And we'll fix this problem we're having here in a minute. So, looks like it. Let's try 40. Let's try 50. I'm trying to find the end of the animation. There it is, 40, 48. So let's change this to 48. And then now we're going to say save as. We're going to say save as. I must have missed it. Save scene as, sorry. And I'm going to append a light wave, append a motion builder, and reappend a new light wave off of the end here. So I know the cycle is complete. And I'll go ahead and close that light wave. And then I'm going to get rid of that folder, the FBX folder that Motion Builder made. I'm getting rid of it because it's going to load that messed up model back in there that Motion Builder lost all the skin textures and stuff off of. So this time when I start it back up, here it is, it came out of Lightwave for a second time here. Start that back up. It might ask me where it's the model. I'm going to have to cycle through the bones. I don't know what this error is. I have not ever got that before. My guess is it's all the bones. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. I might have to resave it now. Just say save scene, say yes. I'm going to close Lightwave and see if it does that crap again. Hopefully it doesn't. That'd be highly annoying every time you load the scene. Oh man, it does. I'm hitting the enter button. Huh, I wonder what that error is. Hopefully you don't get that. I have never had that. So here she is, moving alright in here. And seeing the mesh is fixed there too. That Motion Builder didn't know what to do with my not 100%. I had weight maps that weren't 100% across here, and it was goofing it up. So anyways, I'm going to go click on this bone here, go to rotate. My heading, this motion model's heading is out of whack compared to what it would normally be. Normally this would be the pitch but I'm just looking at what needs to be changed here. Remember not to move anything if you have your auto key on. I don't use mine because I like to screw around with stuff and don't want to remember if, where was it exactly, how many undos do I need to do. I just make sure that I manually keyframe stuff by hitting enter and then telling it where the keyframe goes. You hit enter and then you say okay if you want to create a keyframe, or if you want to make it for all items. Gives you more options that way. If you have auto key, you can change this too, but I just prefer to not have to keep track of how many undos I gotta do. If I move something 3 times, did I move it 3 times? Did I move it twice? Did I accidentally click a little bit and move it 4 times and think I only moved it 3 times? There's a bunch of reasons to not use that auto key thing. Everybody says it's great, but like I said, man, you gotta keep track of your moves. Okay, so I'm going to go to the graph editor with that bone selected, and you can see that the rotation channel right here is there. I am going to squish this down, right click and drag a lasso around all those keyframes on that channel I have selected. I only have you can shift select multiple channels if you want, but we only need it for that heading channel. And down here it tells you my left mouse button will move the values. I can move the value. Value is between 0 and however many %, or negative, same thing. And control left mouse moves the time. So I don't want to do that, so these are your options though. So we're just going for this first one here. And I'm going to not use control key, but just left click and watch the arm drop. And I want to move this somewhere where I can see that arm drop all the way. I want to put it by our side nicely, so that when now it should just hang out there. Now I'm gonna have to fix that thumb, because like I was saying earlier, I just used my move tool to move the bones into place, and that's easy enough to fix using the same method on the rotate. I'm going to use the rotate pitch channel for that one, and that'll move that bone in, that thumb in, and it'll look real nice. You can see it made it look just fine. And you can tweak with it or however you want. You don't have to rotate it when you're setting up your model. So now I'm going to do the other arm. That's this, and it's also on the heading. Go to the graph editor, heading. I'm going to right click and select all, and I'm going to drag this one down. I'm counting on. Yep. Put it right just off of her side. Go ahead and close that. And it buried into her some, so I'm going to go back and fix it a little bit. Just going to move it up some, which is really out. I can turn these bones x-rays off so you can see a little better. Zoom out is greater than left hand keys as your zoom tools. So remember, this rig is at rebelhill.net/html/lw and fbx.html, and it's right here. You just click this and download it, and the files you need will be in there. Everything you need to attach it to your own model and change it. And just remember, when you're attaching it to your model, to rest your bones and don't do any rotating, because it didn't, for me, it didn't like being rotated. It just used the translate tool, or maybe it's not translate, the translate move tool, and move your bones into the position and hit R to rest them into that place. And do not, I'm pretty sure you don't want to rest rotations either. Yeah, don't record your pivot rotation. Just rest those bones and then tell them if you've changed any of the names or whatever. And you don't want to, if you're going to go to, you want to use this naming convention as best as possible. It makes it easier in Motion Builder and in Unity. And there she's moving her right along. I was going to fix that thumb, I don't know. It's on the pitch. Doesn't even look like it's got but one keyframe anyway. Ouch, that looks like it hurt. Ouch, she said. You dick. You fucking break my thumb off. Well, since it's only one for keyframe, I'm just going to manually tweak this into place here, and Shazam! It's fixed. And the same thing with this one, only one keyframe. Get that over here. Rotate it a little up. Make it look decent. And you can right click on, it'll select the chain, everything in the chain from below it, and you can manually move fingers around and stuff too. So but I'm going to hit save. Actually, I'm going to change a bone here. Get to a bone that's, go back to my objects, turn the bones off here. I'm going to save it there, and I want to change my camera properties. Turn up my anti-aliasing a little. If I was going to output this, I would highly recommend going to TGA 32. Works better in Premiere. You tell it where that you want the RGB files. And it'll output them there. And then, let's see, where's my camera at? I want to make my camera match. I'm going to find a good view here. I've got my camera selected, and now I can tell it to match my perspective, the selected camera, and keyframe it there. So now when I go back to camera view, the camera is right where my perspective view was. Alright, so I was having that error when I loaded this. It's asking me for the motion mixer initialize, and I don't know why it's doing that. And it makes you say OK for every single bone, which there's quite a few of them. I don't know how many, but quite a few. And then it'll load it. But if you just go to your Windows here, down to your master plugins, grab that motion mixer and remove it, and then say save scene increment, and your motions will all still be there. I already saved the scene increment. I'm going to close it. There's the new file. I could have saved over that one, but just because if there was something wrong, at least that original file is intact. I'm going to load it. Ba-dunk-a-dunk. No error. And everything's working alright. Jeez. Walking like a cheap hoe. Alright, have a good one.